Are you in a reading slump? Maybe you've just been reading a lot of really mid books, or maybe you finished a great book and nothing hits the same. Well, welcome to Reading Slump 101. I'm going to be giving you lots of do's and don'ts and some book recs if you're in a period where reading just feels like a chore. I'm Paige Turner, and welcome to Pages for Ages, the bookish podcast where we break down all your bookish problems, all my bookish thoughts, and everything in between. In this episode, I'm going to be doing the first ever 333 episode, where I give you 3 do's, 3 don'ts, and 3 book recs if you're in a specific situation. So as I mentioned, the specific situation of this episode is going to be reading slumps. Quick definition, a reading slump is just when you feel unmotivated to read. Reading feels really boring and there's no motivation or dopamine attached to it, which is what reading is all about. Reading is supposed to be a fun hobby. So let's begin with the first do. Now, it might sound a bit controversial, but do a temporary DNF. DNF is do not finish. So if you're not enjoying a book and you're getting 50, 100 pages in, maybe even less, and you're like, this isn't for me right now, I don't want to keep reading, this is making reading itself seem really boring and unenjoyable, then you do not need to push through the book. It will reinforce the idea that reading is a chore, and doing a temporary DNF until you get back into the habit of enjoying reading can just be what's best for your reading habits. And I group this with my first don't, which is don't force the connection. It kind of sounds like dating advice. I don't know about that. But if the connection is not there with your book, do not force it. It will make the reading slump worse. I don't care if you have a carefully scheduled TBR, that's next on the list. Right now, you just need something fun, something enjoyable and fast paced. And stay tuned till the end of the episode to find out my book recs for that specific department. The next do is this is going to sound crazy. Do take a little reading break. And I group this with another do, which is, so if you're taking a reading break for it can be a few days, it can be a bit longer, you can do some cozy hobbies. So your brain is very much in the reading state of mind. So by cozy hobbies, I mean could be painting, drawing, crochet. I'm actually crocheting whilst recording this, because I think it just adds to that cute little reader aesthetic, and then your brain is kind of it's in the cozy I don't know, the cozy section of your brain, if that exists. And the last don't is do not take this as an opportunity to pick up any intimidating books / classics. And I know some of you guys will be looking to grow as readers, vary your reading palette, and I completely get that. I'm trying to branch out, read more classics. But when the thought of reading, anything is oh, it won't hit the same as this book that I read, or every book I've been reading for however long has just been boring, so this one's gonna be boring too. Going into a book with that mindset, it's gonna turn out badly. And so I don't think being mid-reading slump is a good chance to be okay, come on, Jane Eyre, gonna read all of that in a week, pushing through something like that, it kind of adds into the, don't force it, You just want something fun to get you back on your feet, and then you can move towards reading more intimidating things. I don't know why, but I said that was the last don't. I actually have one more section, which is don't replace your reading with doom scrolling. Cough, 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 tut, tut, tut. If you are taking a little reading break, this is why I recommended the cozy hobbies, because if you then start doom scrolling, you're maybe this is more fun than reading. You might not want to go back to reading when you forget how much joy books are giving you. I mean, I hope they're giving you. So instead, you need to go to my 3 book recs, which I am now going to introduce. So this is your number 1 guide to 3 YA friendly books that I think will turn that reading slump on its head. You want to be hooked from the get-go. So book number 1 is 5 Survive by Holly Jackson. This book takes place over 24 hours. No, 24 hours? No, 12 hours, I think. Yes. And so it's got 6 friends, 1 caravan, and 1 sniper. So when their caravan breaks down, so essentially it gets into it in a few chapters, and we've got drama, we've got mystery, we've got secrets unraveling. It was honestly like such a good book, maybe not one to read just before bed, but this book was so hooking. It's quite a fast read, and I think the perfect reading slump remedy. The next book on my list is actually Powerful by Lauren Roberts. I know, controversially not powerless, because I find this one to be a bit slower. The events take time, there's more character development. But if you go to the novella, which has only got like, I think 100 and something pages, wait, let me check. So 245, which, you know, it's not that many if you think about it. It's still technically a novella. I think it's one you'll sort of go through quicker than if you were to read Powerless. And if you haven't read Powerless, I still feel like you can kind of read this one as a like shorter version of that. I also did enjoy it more, but you know, leave your comment on what you thought of the Powerless series. I did enjoy this one more than Powerless. I kind of find it more concise, and I preferred the POV of Adina. Or is it Adina? I don't know. I didn't actually listen to Audible for this one for once, guys, and I don't know how it's pronounced, so drop that in the comments. Anyway, yeah, preferred her POV to Payden. And yeah, I do think it's a great read for the reading slump. Final pick of the reading slump remedy list is Project Hail Mary. I feel like I always talk about this one. Yes, it's quite long, but never has a book hooked me so much in the first chapter. I love this book and I really love the movie, so more on my thoughts of like comparison in future episodes, but I just think that is the perfect one. It's a sci-fi book, but if you don't like sci-fi, which I mean, I don't know if I do because I don't really read a lot of sci-fi, but I don't really like the sci-fi like vibe, but I love this book. I love this book so much. And also it does feature one of my favorite characters in any book series. No prizes for guessing who it is. It's Rocky, obviously. But if you want to meet him, then I guess you better read it. For the final segment of today's pod, I'm going to be helping some listeners get out of their reading slumps. So I put a little question on my WhatsApp channel saying like, what kind of books do you like? I can give you some book recommendations. And I'm just going to be helping out a few listeners, give them some friendly advice. Okay, a listener said they really like romance and mystery and ideally a combination of the two. Now, my recommendation for this is the YA book Close Protection by Eden Victoria. I feel like I haven't talked about this one in a little while, but this book, it's basically like a bodyguard romance. I don't know if I would say there's a lot of mystery, but there's definitely a lot of like action, a lot of like sort of like weird behavior, like shady, what's going on. So he's her bodyguard, and obviously he's there for a reason. Like there's lots of security issues, people are like tracking her, etc, etc, and the romance is really cutesy and I love it. And I do think this is a very, I don't know, I think it's an underrated read because I haven't seen any hype about it, but I do think this listener should go and read that. And the final listener that we're going to give a recommendation to, so they like young adult fantasy romance books, like don't we all, bro? I would recommend Once Upon a Broken Heart. I mean, obviously it's such a good fantasy romance. I think there's a good like blend of the romance with the fantasy, because some books like lean more prominently on one, but that's definitely like a good blend of both. I don't know. Comment some other fantasy romances, because I do want to read that are YA, because I do want to read some more, but like I need some inspo, guys. Thank you for listening all the way to the end of another monthly episode. If you listened all the way to the end, comment hashtag out of my reading slump, all one word, so then I know you're a real one, you listened all the way to the end. Make sure to like, subscribe, do all of the lovely things, and I will see you next month, bookworms. Bye.